Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you've been having a good week of trading. I know it's been some turbulence in the markets with the tariffs being on and off again. And with the we got 90-day reprieve with still 10% on all across the board. So might have taken a little bit of the weight off, but there's still some weight being placed on a lot of our suppliers from out of states or out of the country or our neighboring suppliers. How about that? So let's take a look and see what we got going on this morning heading into the weekend. It's a dangerous time right now because you don't know what's going to happen over the weekend. So we got to be careful how much we put on and how much we take off, really, because we may have some really great positive news this weekend, and next thing you know, the market's heading all-time highs. So we have to be careful with that. But let's take a look and see what we got, and then we'll kind of assess it as we're going along, and then we'll pick up again in this on Monday. I mean, not Monday, on Sunday evening, and see if we can get a picture for the next week coming. All right. So let's see how we're going to finish out this happy Friday. Alright, so let's take a look at our S&P up first and see what we got going on with the S&P. And the S&P currently is trying to push higher, but we still have this overhead pressure coming in with this overhead resistance area too. So we still need to get up through all of this in the S&P to continue going higher. Alright, then we got our next up is our Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's trying to get higher. It's got some resistance still. It has this overhead pressure right in here. As you can see, it's been rejected here a couple of times, trying to get up through this area. Alright, if we go to our Coinbase chart and look at our Coinbase, we can see the same thing here. It's been getting rejected, although it has reached about 82,000, which isn't bad, but it has this overhead resistance at around, I want to say 82, almost 83. Let's say 83 just to be on the safe side. Okay, we have this overhead resistance at 83,000. So we're going to have to see how we react to that. Currently, we're still looking like we're trying to sell off, even in Bitcoin as well. So we have to be careful with that. But we'll have to see what happens when this day plays out going into the weekend. Bitcoin is the only one that kind of works over the weekend as well, so we'll have a good indication with this one as well on Sunday evening. But currently it looks like it wants to continue to try to retest these highs, these previous highs here, and get to its former high of 110. 110 was nice to see, but now we're back down in our 80s and 70s. 70, I don't think we're going to get below 70, but we'll see what happens with that. Only time will tell. But we look like we may have been found our bottom here at around 76,000. So we'll see what happens with that, and we may continue to just cruise along sideways for a while until it's ready to take off again. But stay tuned for Bitcoin. Alright, so next up is going to be our we are going to be looking at oil. And according to our oil chart, oil is still in the bear market as well. Running into some problems at around $62, and doesn't look very well with this doji coming in here. We'll have to see what happens if we open up below this. We're going to retest this low here, and if that doesn't hold up, then we'll see if we break through this $55 area where we put in this tail here. And if we do that, then look out below, $42 in sight. Alright, but currently in the bear market on oil. Looking at the E-mini S&P 500 index futures, same thing, bear market territory, overhead resistance, getting rejected with our 8 and 9 SMA. We open up below. We're going to retest these lows down here. If they don't hold up, look out below. Next up, our Ethereum, and Ethereum has looks like it may have found its bottom and it's trading sideways now. So we'll see what happens with Ethereum. It may continue to play out along with Bitcoin, as this Bitcoin seems to be trading sideways also. So keep an eye on those. It looks like we may be hanging around in this little bit of a range going sideways. Next up is going to be our gold, and gold is trying to take on new highs here. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Continue to push higher on gold. Came back, found some support in here, pushed through this previous high. It preferred this high here as its support area. Alright, and just keeps blowing through this one. So this one here, this high here was just a kind of a false test. Alright, so we're going to bring that out of here. Alright, because our support area is more down in here, as we can see. Okay. And then we have this area here that was acting as resistance and support also. So we're going to leave that one there. We might give that one a little more strength. Say it's probably about a 3 at the moment, until it proves that it's not. I mean, let's see what the... Alright, cancel. We don't really need to know what the price is there. We have a price up here. Alright, so as gold continues to make new highs, we'll stay tuned and continue long in gold. Gold, I wouldn't be afraid to hold over the weekend. Alright, if you're in a gold trade, I wouldn't be afraid to hold that over the weekend. Gold is definitely in a positive, up-moving market. It's got support underneath the 8, 9, and the 20 SMA. It seems to be respecting them. It seems to be respecting our support areas. It doesn't really show any weakness. Gold continues to pump higher. Even our MACD is showing that we're crossing over again, wanting to go higher. So, so I wouldn't be afraid of gold. Gold may be the ticket at the moment. Okay? So, yeah, do your thing. Let's see, next up is natural gas. Natural gas is coming down and it's sitting down at our major moving averages here, and we got some support area here too. So we may not get a breakthrough here too soon, but we have to see if we keep testing this area, showing a weakness. We'll see what happens with natural gas. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a gap down in this thing, the way it's trying to fight. It's trying to get through here, but it's just got a little more support in here than it likes. So our MACD is pointing straight down, so we have to be careful with natural gas. It looks like it wants to give it up. Where were we? The NASDAQ 100 Index Futures. Bear market. Major moving averages overhead. 8 and 9 SMA. Now right here, alright, you got a little bit above our 8 and 9 here, but we still have our 20 overhead acting as resistance. And as you can see, it respects our 20. Okay, and it even respected our 8 and 9 here. So we'll see what happened on this doji. Okay, because we open up down in here. If we continue to push up and head down and we close below this here, we're probably going to retest this support area down here. Okay, and really that support area, I'm going to move it just a little bit lower to encompass this one also. Alright, like so. Okay, so we're going to call this our support area for the 100 Index Futures for the NASDAQ. Okay, but we open up this doji, and we look like we're showing some weakness too. We're not really putting in a whole lot of volume that shows us that we want to continue to go higher. Alright, but there's a lot of overhead resistance here, so the NASDAQ is still showing weakness and still testing those, still trying to hit to the bottom of our NASDAQ is still showing signs of weakness. Alright, let's see. Next up is silver. Silver was getting hammered for a minute there. Let's see what's going on now with silver. Silver's trying to get a little bounce back, but coming into some resistance area. So be careful with silver. This may be just a little dead cat bounce here. And we're going to go back down and retest those lows. Alright. Running into a lot of resistance with silver there. Let's see, we ain't even got that, may be almost about a 50% pullback. So usually you might get a failure at the 50%. In fact, we got some resistance coming in. We're here, but let's take this one here. And we got some resistance coming in on silver right about in here. I'd say about there. And yeah, somewhere in this area. Alright, it's not exact, but I want to say it's definitely in here somewhere. Okay, so silver may be running into some, it maybe hit some problems here in the next couple of days. Get a little bit of a pullback, retest this area maybe, and then try to get back through. As it sucks, these moving averages down lower and get a little more force to push on through. But we'll see what happens with that. Our MACD is trying to swing back up, but we don't know if that's going to be enough to swing it up and push on through, or if it's going to swing up, bounce off, and head back down again. So keep an eye on that with our silver. I'm going to do this is a Thinkorswim chart that I'm using here. I have a link to Schwab on my channel there. You can, if you want to download the Thinkorswim app, or not the app, but the program to do your charting. I'm going to be doing a video on charting. Put that together this weekend and put it out to you guys probably Sunday night once I get it, perfected. Yeah, I say that lightly. Once I get it to, to where I think it's decent enough to hand out, I'll do that. I'll be using the paper trading account. That way I can, show and do everything. And I should give you my personal information, and plus with the paper trading account, I can actually basically start from scratch. So, but yeah, if you want to be able to chart and set up your resistance lines and put in your moving averages and stuff like that to help you with your MACDs and track your volume and everything. Because I notice a lot of people use their phones. My brother uses his phone. He has Robinhood, and so he's on his phone all the time and on Reddit and whatnot. And so he does all his stuff from the phone. I just can't do it. I need to see what I'm doing. I need to be able to read the tea leaves per se, and see where we're at in the water. If we're sinking or if we're floating on top or if we're flying high above like a damn seagull. Alright, so yeah, to me, this is a better way to go about it. If you're good with numbers and you can just look at the numbers and remember the numbers that you saw, and you see your numbers are going higher, and you could probably use your phone and do all that. But for me, I prefer to track it this way, because reading these candlesticks tell you a lot. Seeing this volume tells you a lot. MACD tells you a lot. Position in the trade as far as where your moving averages are and how much volume is coming into the trade. That's a lot of information that you can put your hypothesis together and decide what you want to do. So, and currently silver is taking off this morning. It's at about $31. So $31.58. So it's trying to test this resistance area here. So we're going to see what happens with silver. Next up is the Dow. And the Dow is, of course, in the bear market like the rest of them. Got that doji like the rest of them. And we're going to have to see what happens today. If we get that sell-off heading into the weekend, it may scare some people out of the way. And we may get a little more drop than we want. I know they want the market to kind of slow its descent so people don't go in too much of a panic, but it is still, in my opinion, descending. Like that word? Yeah. Pay $5 for that word. Next up is going to be corn futures, and corn futures are going back up to retest their former glory. Look at these green bars coming in. They're just green, 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 green. So corn futures seem to be going higher, um, and it's in a bull market heading higher. And MACD has crossed over and pointing higher. So corn looks like it's a buy until it's not. All right. Next up is going to be, we're going to do two of them. We're going to do Apple and we're going to do Tesla, and then that's going to be it for today heading into the weekend. All right. So next up is going to be Apple. And Apple is heavily weighted in the most of their indices, the Dow, Nasdaq, blah blah blah. Mostly the Dow though. The Dow is affected big time by Apple. And Apple, if you want to know what direction the Dow is headed, look at Apple. All right, and currently Apple is probably going to open up around $187, which is going to put us down here somewhere below this doji. All right, it's definitely in a bear market and heading lower. So we have to see how we open up. We open up down here and continue to push down. We're going to continue to have a little bit of a retest of this area down here at about $169.21 on Apple. So put your orders in at support. Support should be about right here, but we'll see what happens. I have it down here lower, probably because of something that happened back in the past. So let's see. Let's take a look, see how far back we got to go to figure that out. Trying not to make this too long. So yeah, we had some support down here at around $164.08. I have it at $164.85 there. Here it says 8 cents, so there must be another line in there somewhere, because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, there is sense there, but not the sense we want. Let's see, let's activate that. Move that, no. Okay, so that was just the bottom that it had hit. So we'll change that. That was just our bottom. Like our 52 week or something like that. Low. So let's fix that. And make this 164. That's where our support's at. Alright, just that simple. Alright, so there's our bottom we're looking for, our support low. Okay, we're going to call that our new bottom, which we'll make that green because green always means go. Alright, so we come down here and chop around. Once you see that signal saying we want to go higher, then we're ready to rock and roll. If we break this and head lower, then that's going to be back to red. And this will be we'll make that green. Alright, and we'll just keep changing red, green, until we get to where we belong, where we want to be. Alright, so look for your support at 164 on Apple. Okay, and let's take a look at our last one for today, and that's going to be Tesla. Tesla, man, I tell you, that bad boy, it just moves so quickly. Tesla is not one you really want to try to trade. At least I don't. I'm not good at trying to trade Tesla. I always get my butt kicked when I try to trade Tesla. Tesla is one I just have to kind of just buy at support levels, and then the rest of it, let it do what it's going to do. It's a monster. It's a behemoth. It's a gargantuan. It's what's another one? What's a Kiger? Isn't that what they call those monsters in that movie? Anyway, I'm rambling. For the last one, our Tesla, we still in our bear market here. It's not too far from our moving averages. It's kind of trapped in between these support areas and our moving averages. Can't seem to break through, so it's just kind of trading sideways still. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We got to get some good news or some bad news to get out of this, looks like. Alright. Um, Currently looks like it wants to break below this 249 in the pre-market, so we'll see. It may head lower and retest these support areas, but we can see we hit a little bottom down here, right? We came down, found some support, went up, came back, same support area, and went up again, came back, same support area. So it's trying to stay in here. So far, no, the rug has not been pulled from under Tesla. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Right now, it's just kind of trading sideways, so a bit lackluster on that one. All right, so we're gonna call that it. Russell still in the bear market. The Russell's probably the worst one being hit, or the ones being hit the hardest as far as trading is concerned. It did find some support down here, but it's weak. All right, so yeah, it's weak. So I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to call that it for today. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on how to use the Thinkorswim charting. There's a lot to use on our Thinkorswim charting, setting it up. And so it's going to be, if I'm going to really show you how to get into certain stuff, it's going to be a series of videos. I mean, or it's going to be one heck of a long video. And then I'm going to have to try to figure out how to do those things where you break it up and you can find certain areas that you want to visit first. Like if you want to set up your SMAs, I have to have a section for that. Or if you want to do your, put on an options trade, I have to have a section for that. So I'm going to try to break it down to where it's real explanatory for you and easy to navigate. But it's a lot to do on this charting. But once you get it, once you understand how it works, you're going to love it. Trust me, you're going to love it. And it's going to be so much easier than using your phone. And you can still use it on your phone as well. Because I do use my phone when I'm out of the house, and if I have to go do something and I can't be using my desktop, then I'm on my phone, of course, to because sometimes the trades try to get away from you. And even though I say put in your stops, they're more mental stops than they are physical stops, unless you just want to make sure you don't, miss the trade, or you don't, stop from your loss. It should be mental. But if you just, you're not worried about it, you're like, hey, this is what I'm risking, and that's it. You can put your stop in and walk away and don't look back, and go on about your life. A lot of people I talk to say, I don't want to be messing around with all that, doing all that, trying to learn all this and do that, and be watching it all day long and watching it go up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm like, okay, well, you don't really have to do that. You can put a stop in, and it will take you out of the trade once you get to that point. So that's another option for those of you that are interested, but don't want to spend the rest of your life sitting there watching the monitor and trying to make sure everything is cool in your trade. But yeah, so anyway, look for the video on how to do the work the Thinkorswim charting, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna love it. So if I haven't already said it, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy.